David here from the True Blue Sand Blog, and we are splitting some wood today. Just split up a big old hunk of cherry. See, it's tight grain. That's what they call diffuse porous wood. The big pores are distributed through the growth ring, not just on the early spring. And then we had some sassafras. This sassafras had rot in the middle, which is not unusual. That's carpenter ant damage in the middle. You see there's a carpenter ant there, big black ants. And they love to chew up wood. Anyway, smells great. You can see a carpenter ant gallery there. They really hollowed that out. Looks like water ran through it, doesn't it, the way they cleaned that out. And there you can see the nice color. Has kind of a light yellowish cast to it. But what we're really here to look at is looking at knobs and stubs on trees. You know, when you're tallying timber, doing the inventory work, whether it's for a harvest or sampling to see how many board feet of trees you have per acre by species and spacing and all that. One of the things we do is you grade that tree for volume as you go. You get diameter and log height, and then you give it the system I used was class 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then you had other classes too. Class 1 meant the tree's in good shape, no deductions, and class 2 was 10% deduction on volume for problems you see. And problems could be like a dead limb that hadn't fallen off. Dead limbs in the merchantable height, because dead limbs inject decay down into the tree. Like if you have, or say a healed over burn scar down at the base, but healed over, you give that a 10% deduction. And then say you got an open hole in a tree, then you go 25% deduction, or a burn scar down low that's not healed over. Usually give that a 25% deduction. And you can give deductions for sweep, because then you can't cut the volume out because the tree has a bend in it. But anyway, this is interesting because this is a almost healed over branch stub. You see a knob like this, and it's open, kind of open on the end. That's a branch stub. So that was a branch that died. It broke off out here, and the tree has grown around it. So I split that off, and here's what you see inside. You see, rotten wood in here, and ants are in here working on it. These are little ants, and those little boogers, they're not carpenter ants. The carpenter ants are big black ones. These little ants you see in here, they are biting little boogers. When you're working with this wood and you got those little tiny ants in there, those guys get on your skin and they bite you. They're nasty little boogers. Anyway, you can see the limb here that died. So when a limb dies, if the wood gets grown to it, that'll be a loose knot. That's one where the knot can fall out and you end up with a knot hole in a board. While the branch is alive deeper down in there, as the wood comes around it, that makes a tight knot. But you come out, if the limb dies, then from there on out, as wood goes around it, you have a loose knot. And that's how you end up with a knot hole in a board. But you can see that's got, with that opening was enough that ants got in there, and they've been excavating in here. And the tree is almost around it. You can see the tree almost got around that end. But you see a knob like that where it's healed over. If that was totally healed over, and I was tallying, I'd probably say 10% deduction. Because it's not healed over, the system I used was give it 25% deduction, because we know we've got rot going on in there. Not a perfect method, but it worked really well. And in doing timber sales using that method, I never came up short on volume. The loggers always said they came out okay, and believe me, if loggers don't come out okay on the volume, they will let you know about it. So anyway, so always, evaluate your trees honestly as you go. Don't stretch your diameters. Don't stretch your logs. Actually, we round up to the nearest even inch. So like if it's a 19.1, it's a 20-inch tree. But if it's an 18.9, that's still an 18-inch tree. Anyway, if you use, and we're going in even 2-inch jumps, so you'll round there, and that evens out. But on log length, never stretch a log. On hardwoods we go 8, 16, 24, like that. We go in 8-foot jumps when we tally. Now they can cut hardwood logs to 2 feet jumps with 6 inches of trim, and you have to figure that trim in. You got to, if you have multiple logs, you want to have enough room there for 6 inches of trim on the end of each segment. Never stretch those. If you stretch them, you will come up short. And so, like, say you got 4 feet left over. Say you got 32 feet plus 4 feet on top of that. That's 2 logs. So you've got 2 16-foot logs. You got 4 feet of leftover. Well, the logger can make use of that, because they can go in. If you got, say you got 36 feet, he can go 10 feet, 12 feet, and 14 feet. He has options on cutting that. He can get every bit of the merchantable length. But if you try to tally that, our tally system goes by 8-foot jumps. So that's where the logger can actually come out ahead. You might have problems in some trees, and you need that, what we call that overrun. You need that overrun so the logger doesn't get hurt. And if you try to stretch a log, call a 6-foot log or a 6-foot segment a half a log, that will turn around and bite you. Absolutely, you never do that. Never stretch a log. And you get a good reputation, and loggers will bid on your jobs, and they'll pay good money because they know they've got that overrun there for their protection. So anyway, thought you'd like to see that. And those little ants can carry out the wood. Those little ants have been carrying that stuff out of there. There goes a little one up the side there carrying I don't know if that's an ant egg or an ant larva it's carrying. But you get into those little ants, be brushing them off. They'll bite you, and they sting. Catch you later. Thanks for visiting.